We are gonna just go straight through. So I'm so excited to bring up to host our third hour of the marathon, a longtime community member. This is a person who I always look for at the marathon because she is the most sartorially striking person, I am convinced, in all 5 boroughs. Please welcome our host for the next hour, Lydia Cortez.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here, especially on the 50th anniversary of the marathon. That's huge. So we're going to start right away. And the first person up is Janine Otis. And Janine is the director of the music at St. Mark's. She's a recording artist, a writer, educator, who believes our art at best brings us together, like how the ingredients work together in a good bowl of gumbo. Janine Otis.
Okay, so while we're setting up, I'm going to introduce the musicians that are playing with me. Over here I have Yuki Koki. And then I have Chris Almeida on drums, along with my good friend, his wife, Vivian. They all come out, they're probably tired. And this is Bim Strasberg on bass. So poetry and music. One of my favorite musicians that sang songs that had a lot of poetry was Nina Simone. I grew up listening to Nina Simone, and her words have even more, they resonate even more in the times that we're living in. And so this is a song I think you'll recognize that she did. I'm sorry my back is to you, but we love you. Okay, so. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clean, for the whole world to hear. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear for the whole world to hear. I wish I could give like I'm loving you again. I wish I could live like I'm loving you. Oh, I wish you could know what it is to be me. Can you see and agree that every man and woman should be free? You the band, you all right, Jim. And now Chris. Woo! He used to play with Wilson Pickett. If I found out, oh, I soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know, hey! Then I'd sing, 'cause I know, hey! Then I'd sing, 'cause I know. Do we know? Amen? Can I get an amen? Amen. How it feels to be free.
Janine, that was incredible, beautiful. Would you mind mentioning the names of the other musicians that accompanied you again?
Yes. This is Chris Almeida on drums. These are really wonderfully accomplished musicians. Chris toured with Wilson Pickett, among other people. Bim Strasberg on bass. Bim has worked all over the world as a jazz musician, and then Yuki Koki, who we stole from Japan, and Vivian.
Thank you. Thank you again. Our next performer is Todd Colby. Yay, Todd! Todd is a poet and artist splitting his time between Brooklyn and Northampton, Massachusetts. Todd?
Grief would enter my body like a cold piece of gravel and make a home there, all sharp and grainy and dry, rattling around my body, making it difficult to breathe, with the moon beaming through the slats. Starting this year, you will no longer be able to reverse mistakes you make by simply shouting, "No, no, no." You will learn how to survive a 15-minute tiger attack. You will learn how to survive a 20-minute orca attack. You will learn how to get people to ask you in your mind to remove a bear from a tree in your yard. Stop smashing up. This is our house. All the bullshit always and everywhere, going out on a limb here, blood on the toilet paper, pencil on the rib, chalk on the bed, tone arm on the vinyl. No one has ever named their child Todd in my honor. Abandoned chateaus, HR puffin stuff, and warm pink noise. The oceans are cranking out storms. Pugs are wolves disguised to look like human babies. Dear friends, for the next decade I shall only be addressing all of you with heavily distorted vocal effects. You shall maintain a safe distance between knowledge and truth. You shall listen to woozy techno blues while sulking in bed. You shall recognize a substance called quantum foam. You shall teach the robins in your neighborhood how to shout one swear word. I have not found that any of this is getting any easier. Does anyone have any use for words? A client strategist called to tell me we can't be cured by love, but Pop-Tarts can take the edge off a bleak morning. I am somewhat overwhelmed by the realization that the casing around my body is super duper permeable. I can't do shit, I thought to myself, earthy, anxious, tired, winter, now. Your mom caught you masturbating over the holidays. Go back 3 spaces and roll again. During a walk, I felt the urge to turn around and saw a ghost on the road pass through a car. Neighbor wants to know where I found the ghost to follow me. Won't stop asking now every day. The hum of years, the startling discovery of time having passed while being unaware of it passing by. A chalky sunset now speaks volumes. When you encounter a stressful situation in real life, there is no denying it. You are in a stressful situation in real life. That's why my motto is any sustained shrieking sound. Actually, the name of this poem is, After I Gave Him the Finger, Things Got Really Out of Control. I can't stay suspended in the air with a sustained flapping motion, and that sucks. I don't even wonder what Jim Morrison would think of our modern era, because I have seen the future, and it is full of awkward feelings, and I still would not like to come hear you DJ. Happy New Year.
Todd, you can do shit. Our next performer is Emily Brandt. Emily Brandt is the author of Falsehood and co-founding editor of No Dear. Emily Brandt.
Happy New Year. I'm so glad to be here with all of you. Tarantella. Every summer, the spider awakened from its hibernation and stung those who worked in the fields. The animal was assigned with specific musical preferences and character inclinations that influenced the one who, after the bite, was possessed by it. Federica Arauco. The legs are poison warm, a basin of water, cool. The spine arcs belly up to the blackness above, salted with stars. Sky exfoliates hair from the body. Shoulder blades punctuate soil. Bridge over the river between what is this side and that today? Sanity, mortality, a crossword, bit of sex. That side now the new territory, undesirable, yet somehow compels, cracks an attitude, a thin light spanning east to west, or maybe this light has no origin or direction, but emanated always in the streak that it is. Hear the music. And if onto feet stamping again, if the spider. Today I stepped barefoot on a cockroach, deep gray smudge staining the floor. The creature crawled off, half flattened, and I hadn't the heart to finish it. But how does a cockroach convalesce? The cry I emitted cleared sinuses, so what? Why should I be horrified? I'm the horror after all in this tale. Ankle deep in feelings, drumming heels as if that music could make meaning of the thin strip of light and how it fades. These moments between steps, there's ease, a trust, like Moses is, for God knows in his bones his staff will turn to serpent. And how in the Quran God is forgiving, repeated, the rhythm compelling as life, heart, stay soft. When you meditate well, you might hear Om, which perhaps is Amen, the same perhaps as Mom. I move my red eyes across pages, millennia blur. I could have a seltzer at some point, some Amaro. Become again blank field on which to project an urge towards an inorganic stage from before being born. Burn all of your belongings to be liberated from the plagues. Utopia is an attitude, but I'm not interested. I had a tiny blister on the tip of my tongue, and it hurt so much to touch it to my teeth, but I couldn't stop doing that. It also felt a little good. When I panic, I hit the floor, stomp the spider. Am I right? Is their gait, the fluid of the skull, the hard breath? I pulse all night. The spider's one bright eye snaps open, stares. I'll return to the place from where I came, and isn't that then fine? As in elegant, as in fragile and thin, as in precious, or like hot, like gorgeous, like alive. Yes, binary thinking has broken the culture, and that extends to the death-life continuum. I close with a couplet from the 17th century. Where did the little spider bite you? Under the hem of my skirt.
Thank you, Emily. That was lovely. Our next performer is Camila Janan Rashid. Camila is a learner based in Brooklyn, New York. Camila Janan Rashid.
Hello? Yeah, it's on. Happy Gregorian New Year. I'm going to read two pieces. They're both constraint-based poems. I like constraints because I think there's something a bit erotic about having something withheld and then having to make a world from what is left over. The first comes from a reading that I did on October 26th as part of Anonymous Gallery's poetry reading, and it's a piece of writing that I wrote while listening to other people read and needed to do something with my body, so I started collecting words and wrote something on the spot. So this is the first piece, and I'll read the second piece. And this one is for Justin Bill. A self-sufficient God does not care about your analog sex or your neon composites. Just stay. The windows allow desire and discipline to overlap. The radio thickens around a punk airspace. And then for Elliot Reed, I exist as an XXXXXXX, but I am more than a mess. I am a boring dance crawling towards some rehearsal for a chance at pure gluttony, yet to be seen. I am possessed by a harmony of 5 triangles, and my mouth is shuffling between different ghosts, whispering a secret text. A black prayer unfolds itself into a position of before, and I learned that a duet that spreads like milk just wants attention. I am sorry, but I can only interpret at the edge because I have not been optimized. I pledge allegiance to an alien that has the vision. And the second piece that I'm going to read is a list-based poem that I started in 2015, and it's called An Alphabetical Accumulation of Approximate Observations. A, acrobatic apologies, affordable arguments, aggregated apathy, arbitrary applause, arrogant arousal, aspiring autocrat. B, beige bully, bedazzled body bags, bossy benefactors. C, charismatic complexion, choreographed correlation, chuckling cyborg, claustrophobic categories, clumsy clown, conditional citizen, countless caskets. D, decadent danger, delicate drone, dogmatic details, didactic devotion, durable dystopia. E, elite erection, embellished evidence, emotional embargo, erotic erasure, eventual extremists, exalted endings, exotic air. F, fascist flirtation, fatigued faith, fermented flesh, flamboyant flashback, flaccid futures, flimsy freedom, franchise fear, frugal fantasy. G, gentrified gaze, ghetto ghost, glitchy gods, gloomy gender, gluten-free graveyard. H, heterosexual heist, homicidal hemline, horizontal heaven, hostile horizons, hysterical handwriting. I, identical illusions, intimate invasions, insecure income. J, jaded jellyfish, janky justice, jealous jargon. K, khaki Kwanzaa, kind killings, kindred keystrokes, kinetic karma, kinky knowledge. L, lactating language, laughing landscape, lethargic legislation, lubricated logic. M, malnourished mystic, marketable melody, misplaced mercy, moaning maps, moist myths, mumbling messiah. N, naive nostalgia, nappy numbers, nautical Negroes, neoliberal nudity. O, obedient outcomes, obnoxious orifice, offensive orgasm, offshore optimism, optimal opponent, optimized orgy, Orwellian overcoat. P, panoramic patriarchy, pathological patriotism, petite policy, phantom power, plagiarized pleasure, preemptive paranoia, privatized pleasure, progressive plantations, public pity. Q, quarantine questions. R, recessive rights, redacted rage, rehearsed revolution, reliable regret. S, self-care spectacle, soybean spaceship, strategic suffering, submissive sentence, superlative silence, super Negro specimen, surplus syntax, synchronized swallow. T, tangled throne, theatrical terrorism, thirsty trauma, totalitarian threesome, trendy truths, twerking televangelist. U, underground utopia, unregulated urgency, uniform utterance, uppity uterus. V, vigilant vocabulary, vintage vibrators, viral victory, voguing vampire. W, wandering wage, wayward weapon, white wisdom. X, xenophobic Xanax. Y, yucky year. Z, zigzagging zombie. Thank you.
Thank you, Camila. Loved your alphabet. Our next performer is Famola. Famola is the only band to replace 3 guitars with an empty salad dressing bottle. Famola.
Yes, thank you. So now I can make my speech. How did Famola survive 2023, you ask? The high point of our year, no doubt, was our tour of bad-smelling delicatessens of the Northeast. Believe it or not, there's a website called smellydeli.com, which lists our nation's most odoriferous salami sellers. Our enterprising agent, Howland Lutherford III, called up every one of these delicatessens and asked if they wanted a free concert. After 2 months of touring, we discovered that almost no deli patrons enjoy our music, except for some reason, those who order liverwurst. Speaking of which, how many of you have ever sneezed? Our first song is about that mysterious experience and is entitled Anatomy of a Sneeze. I feel a tickle in my nose, and you know how it goes. I'm about to be seized by a sneeze.
Everybody freeze. I'm going to sneeze. I'm weak in the knees. I'm going to sneeze.
A calamitous sneeze, a damaging sneeze, a colossal sneeze.
An impossible sneeze, a stunning sneeze, a blundering sneeze.
It'll feel like a breeze when I sneeze. I'm ill at ease, I'm going to sneeze.
A calamitous sneeze, a damaging sneeze, a colossal sneeze.
An impossible sneeze, a stunning sneeze, a blundering sneeze.
I feel a tickle in my nose, and you know how it goes. I'm about to be seized by a sneeze.
Do any of you have honest friends? This is a song we wrote for an honest friend of ours. Let's call her Cynthia. The song is entitled, Why the Hell Are You So Honest?
You borrowed a guitar pick in 1974. Last week you returned.
Yeah, start again.
Did I start? You borrowed a guitar pick in 1974. Last week you returned it, standing at my door.
Oh yeah, let's start again.
Am I starting at the wrong time?
Kind of, yeah.
You borrowed a guitar pick in 1974. Last week you returned it, standing at my door.
You're so honest, so deeply honest, so honest, I'm astonished. You borrowed 40 cents in 1978. This week you returned it, standing at my gate. You're so honest, so deeply honest, so honest, I'm astonished. You said I was your best friend. Then you wrote on Twitter.
You borrowed a toothbrush in 1984. Today you returned it, standing at my door.
You're so honest,
So deeply honest,
so honest, I'm astonished. Our final song is a biography of the tragically forgotten President John Quincy Adams.
can you start?
John Quincy Adams, John Quincy Adams, he's my friend.
John Quincy Adams, John Quincy Adams, here he comes again.
In 1817, he went to Yale. He got drunk and puked in a pail.
In 1824, he supported the war, but there wasn't any war in 1824. John Quincy Adams, John Quincy Adams, he's my friend.
In 1825, he visited Norway. He gained weight and got stuck in a doorway.
In 1826, he became president, but nevertheless, he was rather hesitant. John Quincy Adams, John Quincy Adams, he's my friend. John Quincy Adams, John Quincy Adams, here he comes again.
Sparrow, you're so honest. Our next performer is Samuel Espíndola Hernandez, who is Chilean-born, Queens-based, and Emerge Surface B fellow poet. Samuel Espíndola Hernandez.
Thank you very much. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm gonna read a section of a poem that is titled Eurydice in Odessa, in Texas, inspired by the last season of Twin Peaks. The first hypothesis, the constrained water, like falling itself, was a substance. Who looks back through Odessa's door, all unnoticed pain in the world doesn't turn into salt due to stubbornness. Awakening without eyelids, sign trace in stone, a baby stroller falls down through the stairs, avoiding bullets. Crystal and wire over a face, the still cries aloud while turning, and the body falls. For who follows the leads of the exiled, the skin approaching to the tamarugos and the white corners of Calama, are the register to whom always wakes up at dawn. There's no such thing as only being ashes. His face resting on a green melamine table doesn't recognize the tiles, the vinyl floor covering the MDF walls, asbestos ceiling, the large facades where neon lights radiate against oxygen. Near the place where carob trees patrol the garbage dumps, behind the eyes of mother-of-pearl bolt forms, a sediment made of fluorescent light bulbs, and its intervals, my mother calls me. What year it is? When are you coming home? Those dusty portals I cross, it looks like they produce a delay on the granular sound of her voice, although her was the only one I hear asking for my return. I couldn't answer her. She's everything I would like to rescue from myself, but a mother is the only thing impossible to save. They say that when Cenobites surround her in the desert we had in the attic, they ask her to tell my story to their ears, and they drop dead in the reenactment scene. Meanwhile, I heard her scream on the stairs of the empty house. If it is possible to say there is emptiness in a crime scene, I remained wild and inert. I made an earthroom from the ground, a calendar full of antelope photos, and every day crossed out. I thought that I was like a deer wounded to death, escaping from its murderer, but who lost the trace of the herd and of its mother in the mist. Until I remembered, they both had been dead for years in this forest, where sleepers and penitents cross their paths. Thank you very much.
Gracias, Samuel Espíndola Hernandez. Our next performer is Ivy Castellanos. Ivy Castellanos, a half-Bolivian mix, is an abstract performance artist and sculptor. Ivy Castellanos.
This is dedicated to Winona. What is rope? This is one of the most profound things I believe I have asked in my life. Well, that I signaled. The importance comes from the context in which I was provoked to respond. What is rope? An anecdote for something greater. For now, it lives as a conditional inside joke or provocation for myself and my accomplice. Two activists sit in a van under the moonlight in a parking lot of a state park. a twin bed, a cooker, a heater, 400 miles away from the site of ecocide, displacement of community, and a land grab. They are on their way to rest from actions, arrests, wet asses, and cold hands. Their version of a reset is a 2,300-mile drive to another place of extraction for support, rest, learning, and reset. At the 400-mile-away site of the destruction, an action is meant to occur at sunrise. On a very compromised signal thread, note, there are never many volunteers for direct actions, but everyone wants to be on the thread. We search for a willing participant on that very compromised thread. Confirmation. And another thread is made. The action is written out in detail, and time is nearing sunrise. The self-described agitator, the one who complained previous actions weren't big enough, responds, "Oh, yeah, I can't do it because I don't have any rope." To which my response, "What is rope?" In detail, I name the items on your person that can be used, things from your closet, shoelaces, dental floss. The list lands to ellipses to imply abundant thinking and expansiveness. Let's just say it landed at that no. My hold on this term is the amount of self-branding that occurs in activist struggles, a vanilla way of being with constant boasting, how informed one is, as if that is sincere or even enough. What is that hesitation? How is it embedded so deeply to not even allow the dream of something different? Oh, and if you're wondering, that action did occur by another burnt-out activist who shows up to those AM to PMs, gets arrested, wet asses, cold hands, and no mention of rope. Thank you.
Ivy Castellanos, thank you. Our next performers are Dusty Childers and Frank Shabluski. Dusty Childers is a vividly dressed, multi-hyphenate who haunts the stages as well as the nooks, crannies of New York City's underbelly. Frank Shabluski is a poet, artist, novelist, and lecturer working out of Dusseldorf, Germany.
Here we go.
Engelkadaver, zu Füßen von weitem auszunehmen, die fressen vom Kopf das Haar, jemandem graut vor Kiefern fern spannen, einen Flügelschlag entfernt, mit letztem Körpereinsatz den Ruheschmerz hochgewürgt zu gelegenen Mommel schreiend, jeder Blüte gleich, hinter der anderen eine unersättlich scheint. Der Engelkadaver steht bis zum Hals hinaufgeschlagen, das gebrochene Herz zu geben. All es fällt schwer aufeinander, die Lippen blutleer gepresst in die Seite, jeder nachging. In der Hand des anderen auf, hören, zu leben von anderen. Der Schock sich zeitlich versetzt, im Wechselstrom zu Schwingungen. In der Sekunde jemand die Spannung auf den Nullpunkt legt, die Finger hinein, den Rest aus den Augen zu schließen. In einem löst das Gebundene die Betäubung, unfurchtbar gegenüber dem, blütenbeschmiert, den Damm unterspült, in sich Verliebenden.
Angel Cadaver translation. Close and far away, torn eaters from skull, hair gray from buttered jaws, afar, cocked one flap away, and with its last breath regurgitates restlessness to lying mouths, one and all, heavens scream like buds, one by one seems insatiable. The angel cadaver stands up to the neck, bitten, bile brokes to give to all. Bloodless lips fall hard upon each other, to the side, hand in hand, opened, raised, then ceased living. Sideways into time, the other is shocked, in alternating currents left oscillated, a moment in time set in tension to freezing point, one finger width placed, then taken from their eyes. In one numbness is untied from the tide, dreadless against the flesh smeared, a dam burying into consummate lovers. And this is Calm Dam. Calm down, lady, says the voice over the walkie-talkie. Transmitted affirmations weave their way across time differences, across oceans, microchips doing the goddess's work. The lady finds peace. Melancholy begins to thin. Her inner rabbit, once hopping headlong towards sabotage, now pauses. Still, calm, like a raging river harnessed for a greater good. This big job complete. Frankly, my dear, someone did give a damn.
Ganz still, Lady, ganz still, sagte die Stimme übers Walkie-Talkie, mitgeteilt verweben sich Bejahungen zum Weg, über Zeitspannen hinweg, über den Ozean. Halbleiterplättchen tun die Arbeit der Göttin. Die Dame wird ruhig, Traurigkeit legt sich, ihr Betthäschen einst kopfüber gesprungen, Sabotage, jetzt ruhend, noch still, ein reißender Fluss, vorgespannt für ein höheres Gut, diese dicke Aufgabe vollendet, frank und frei, mein Lieber, jemand scherte sich nen Dreck.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dusty Childers and Frank Shabluski. Our next performer is Jamil Olawale Kosoko. Jamil Olawale Kosoko is a multi-spirited Nigerian-American author, performance artist, and curator of Yoruba and Natchez descent, originally from Detroit, Michigan. They published Black Body Amnesia in 2022. Visit jamila.com to learn more. Jamila Olawale Kosoko.
Thank you. Breathless, for Jordan Neely. Hell rose hot and hungry as a white chokehold around another black neck. Nostrils lit, eyes and iPhones clenched at the sight, the sheer lack of air, the smell of his last breath got Iblis on brick, thick. It spit like lava. By the time the F-train conductor snatched the lever, turned Grim Reaper, said, "You're gonna kill him," the three vigilantes had already gone viral. Orgying over the 30-year-old's frame, a fatal attraction. No grammar for the collision, for the sirens still screaming, his body's abyss at a frequency lower than death. Devotion for my father. Baba taught me to pray, or at least taught me to teach myself. He would observe my salat, and I would enjoy his brief observations, the gifts of fatherly attention my efforts to love Allah might afford me. You see, I've gone at God like this ever since I can remember. Performing in a tongue not my own, only after voodoo, after the hands, always right before left, the mouth, the nose, the face, next the forearms, the crown of the head, ears, and finally the feet, flat and black, like my Baba's feet, standing beside me. Demon time. Then there is this loneliness that roams. No rocking can hold it down. It is alive on its own. Toni Morrison, beloved. In the absence of love, we do many things. We make mistakes with our bodies. We steer so unapologetically to touch that we veer off course. Lust finds us clawed and undone, still cuddling the sheets, relentlessly sniffing for the last scent of their sex, their sweat. What I know is our only duty on earth is to be human, to strive for conventional things, a home, a faith, a body that is not our own, to call our own.
Thank you, Jamil Olawale Kosoko. Our next performer is Jay Bartell. Jay Bartell has lived and worked in Asheville, North Carolina, and Buffalo, New York, and currently lives in New York City, where he works at Anthology Film Archives. Jay Bartell.
Gumby's over there, right? It's not just me. It's like looking in the mirror. When's the Gumby blockbuster gonna come? That's what I want to know. Gumbyheimer. Is this working? Yeah? What about now? Gumby says yeah. I was thinking Steve Buscemi would be a good Gumby, since I might not be available. Hi, Chris. This song's called Someday. The best day. Be here any day, I'm sure. Sorry. Try again. There we go. Things are starting to change. I can almost see it again. In the winter they say spring bodies are made on the bare branches of trees. The shoots of new leaves push out like beaks that open and sing. Someday it will be our day. Some way we'll be what we were meant to be, or give up up at last, at least. Someday, someday. Let's have a parade. Let's celebrate the holiday of being awake. And if you can't relate, you can always exaggerate. It's been a long, long while since I've seen you smile. Someday it will be our day. Some way we'll be what we were meant to be, or give up at last, at least someday. On a rooftop dancing around, me and you be on a rooftop dancing around. When will it change? I can almost see to the end. In the summer they say autumn's grace is late. It's been a long, long while since I've seen you. It's been a long, long while. It's been a long, long while. It's been a long, long while. Thank you.
Thank you, Poetry Projects. Most of all.
Thank you to Jay and to all of the performers in the last hour. And can we have a big round of applause for Lydia Cortez? Lydia is a treasure to poetry and to our community, and I'm so glad you're here today. And she's reading in the next hour, so stick around.